This video is sponsored by Melody. Hey everyone and welcome back. Today I have a slightly different video for you all, and it's really for those of you who have ever thought about starting a YouTube channel as a photographer. Now I haven't really spoken about social media and running that in conjunction with a photography business too much on my channel lately, but I would love to do more of these types of videos because I do think at the end of the day, topics like this are really important to discuss. And for those of you who are interested in YouTube as a platform for your social media, I'd highly suggest getting started with it. And in this video today, we're going to talk about why I feel it's so beneficial for photographers to actually start a YouTube channel. For me, this experience has been life-changing, and I really want to go through some reasons why it could be life-changing for you too. But if you're new here, my name is Kaylee and I'm a beauty and fashion photographer based near Sydney, Australia. And I started this channel 10 years ago now to talk about all things photography and retouching related. And as I mentioned, we are going to be talking about some of the reasons I think it could be so beneficial for you to start a YouTube channel in 2024 as a photographer, and let's get straight into it. So I do want to preface this video by saying I know that YouTube is not going to be for every photographer out there. It can be incredibly time consuming to take something like a YouTube channel on along with running your own photography business, and I totally understand that. I really am aiming this video towards those of you who have had thoughts in the past about starting a YouTube channel, but maybe you don't know where to begin, and I think hopefully this is where this video will come in handy. So to start off with, I'm going to take it right back to the beginning of when I started YouTube. So this was 10 years ago now, back in 2014, and I'd been having thoughts for a while about how I could start a YouTube channel, and I had interest in YouTube. I definitely already watched a lot of YouTubers at that point, and I saw some of the successes that they were having with their YouTube channels, both here and abroad, and I was really interested in learning more about YouTube and learning how I could also use it to my advantage as a photographer. But I also knew that I wanted to go down the education route eventually, and that was something that had always interested me as well. I had always had an interest in teaching, and I really wanted to do that in future. So I thought that that could be beneficial by using YouTube to kind of integrate that, but otherwise I didn't really know how else to use it for my business or in conjunction with my business. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even know if it was possible to start a YouTube channel and really integrate it with a photography business at the time. I didn't know what kind of content I would make. I think I was really stuck on the whole like photography is stills, YouTube is video. So how is this going to translate? I was thinking about it way too literally and not really thinking outside of the box in ways I could use my channel to really benefit myself and to possibly benefit others too. So luckily for me at this time, I had a really good friend, Jessica Kobasi, who is still one of my best friends to this day. And luckily for me, she'd already taken the plunge into doing YouTube. And I think it really helped at the time to have someone or to see someone doing it and to see someone actually making it happen. And that really kind of spurred me on to do it myself. And she used to say to me all the time, she was like, you need to get on this, you need to get on YouTube. Like, it's so much fun. There's so much you can be doing, like to really further your business and, you know, doing tutorials and things like that. There's so much you can really achieve with having one. And as I mentioned, seeing Jess go out and do this herself was really inspirational for me. And she only had a smaller channel at that point, but she was already starting to really make things happen. And it was really exciting to see that. So I think that was really the final kicker that really got me into gear with starting a YouTube channel, even though I really had no idea what I was doing and I really had no idea where I was going to start. When I finally started my channel and decided to start posting videos, I'd settled on starting off with some tutorials specifically for Photoshop because I'd already been through a few years of study at my local college, and unfortunately in the course that I did, I learned very little in Photoshop, and I'd already been very self-taught up to that point anyway. I'd been using Photoshop for many years even before I started the course, so I kind of knew my way around it pretty well, and I did feel like this sense of frustration in going through the course that I had for 3 years in not learning anything that was going to be really beneficial out of Photoshop, and that was frustrating because I knew how big of a deal it was to have a good handle on that, especially when you're starting your own photography business and getting into the commercial world of fashion photography. So there was that sense of frustration that I think spurred me on to do more tutorial-based videos, especially initially, because I felt that the information out there was always either behind a paywall or it was very limited online at that point. And unfortunately, there were a lot of other students and people out there who had done courses like I had, who also felt like they weren't learning enough from Photoshop and really, I think, were hungry for that information. So that's where I decided to start. Now, this is not to say that you have to do tutorials for your photography channel if you want to start one. There are so many other things that you can really try with your channel, including behind the scenes, photography videos, maybe photography tips and tricks. If you like sharing information about the business side of photography, you can really work with that a little bit more. There's a lot of things that you can really produce for a photography channel that can be a little bit more outside of the box. It sometimes just takes that little bit of extra thought. But now I'm going to go through some of the reasons why I felt it was so life-changing for me to start a YouTube channel, because I think that there's certain things and certain opportunities that I would have never had the opportunity to do and to achieve had I not had this YouTube channel. And that is one thing that I really do love about YouTube, is that it offers so many potential opportunities. The more you grow with it, it's just so incredible to think of some of the experiences you can have just by having this as one of your main platforms. So one of the first reasons I felt that starting a YouTube channel was probably one of the best things I've ever done is that it actually made me a much more confident photographer and business person overall. I have learned so much from my time of being on YouTube, and I feel that the amount of research that I've had to do for my channel and the experimentation and the practicing and the shooting and so much of what I've done for my YouTube channel, I have also put into practice, and that has been invaluable to me as a photographer. I think that there's so many things that I've had to do through YouTube, like certain tutorial videos that I wanted to do, or certain behind the scenes videos. You know, I always felt the need to constantly create content and to constantly be improving my work. And YouTube helped me along with that even more, because I was starting to see where I could improve a lot clearer and what people wanted to see on my channel. And that meant trying new things out that I probably wouldn't have otherwise tried. So the whole thing has just been such a learning process. But also, as many of you may know from some of my first few videos on this channel, I was an incredibly shy person. It was tough for me on my earlier shoots because I was such a softly spoken person, to the point where it was hard for me to direct people. It was hard for me to even be in front of a group of people. It was very intimidating. And especially because I was a bit younger then, I was only in my early 20s and teens for that matter. So I do think it was really difficult for me in social situations to kind of come out of my shell. And I honestly think that starting a YouTube channel helped me with this significantly. Just constantly talking to the camera every day and really having to think off the cuff and think of things off the top of your head so consistently really helped me with talking not only to other people, but being in situations on shoots where I was in a high pressure situation and there was a lot of people around me and I had to think of things so quickly. I just felt that having this YouTube channel had made me such a confident person in my work and in my business life. And I really do have YouTube to thank for that, because I do think it was down to constantly filming, constantly talking to the camera, and all of this really translated in my day-to-day life, even just generally in my social circumstances. I started to become less and less shy and reserved, and I really was more confident with what I wanted in my business, what I wanted on shoots, where I was directing people and speaking with people. I just felt a lot more confident overall. Then also there has been other business opportunities that have come along with YouTube that have definitely made me a lot more confident in those situations, like even through things like pitching to brands for sponsorships or negotiating with brands in general, usage fees. A lot of this actually comes into content creation as well through YouTube. So I do feel like it's made me more confident on that front as well. And another one of those things that I didn't know a lot about before I started my YouTube channel was music licensing. And as someone who is a photographer that was just getting into content creation and into getting to starting video and a YouTube channel, music hadn't so much as been at the forefront of my mind, but it was something that I really had to learn more about. Choosing high quality professional music is something that can make a huge impact with your YouTube videos. And whether you're searching for copyright safe music as a photographer, a content creator, or a videographer, you can find the perfect match in seconds with today's video sponsor, Melody. Melody is a high quality tech-enabled music licensing solution for creatives. Something I really wish I'd known when I first started my YouTube channel was how important good music actually was to my viewers. Choosing great music can convey a mood and add a professional and creative touch to your videos. Melody offers a range of authentic music from a roster of award-winning artists. They also make music licensing a breeze for creators, including unlimited downloads which are licensed worldwide and forever. So you don't have to worry about copyright strikes and takedowns on YouTube anymore. One of my absolute favorite features of Melody is the extensive amount of stems they offer with their tracks. This makes it so easy to choose a song that I love, but also choose a version of that song that is best suited to my video content. Check out this recent tutorial I filmed for my YouTube channel, where I used a stem of this song and removed the vocals and made it less distracting to the voiceover. It then became the perfect background track. I'm first going to make some basic adjustments to this image and just adjust the exposure and the shadows, some of the highlights too. I'm first going to make some basic adjustments to this image and just adjust the exposure and the shadows, some of the highlights too. Another one of my favorite features is their AI search function. I used to really dread having to spend hours looking for the right songs, but the AI search allows me to find the perfect match in seconds. By simply dropping in a YouTube link or MP3 file, I can find the style or genre I'm looking for quickly and easily. With unlimited downloads, it means I can test out a range of tracks without having to worry about the extra costs or licenses. So if you're looking for copyright-safe music that ticks all of the boxes, check out Melody. If you're interested in checking Melody out for free, make sure to click the link in the description box below to learn more. Thanks again to Melody for sponsoring this video. And now moving on to the next reason why I feel that having a YouTube channel has been so beneficial as a photographer is that it's given me opportunities that I never would have dreamed of. So I spoke about this briefly earlier in the video, and I really truly feel that the opportunities I've gotten through YouTube are second to none. I feel like it would have been incredibly difficult had it not been for my YouTube channel to try and secure some of the opportunities that I have had over the years. I've been lucky enough to work with brands such as Nikon, Panasonic, Milanote, ViewSonic. I do have quite a large list of brands that I have worked with in the past, and I think the vast majority of it would not have been achievable had I not had my YouTube channel. I've worked with great retouching platforms as well, such as Affinity Photo and Avoto, and I think that having some of these opportunities just goes to show how powerful YouTube can be. One of my favorite opportunities I think that I've ever had, and I think that it's probably one of the highlights of my career, was actually working on a course with Domestika, and I did this back in 2022, and it was just after the depths of the pandemic, and I really felt that it was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had. I was able to be flown to Madrid to film this course at Domestika's headquarters in Madrid, and I just loved every second of it. I loved creating the course. I think I was really in my element. As I said, I like creating courses. I like creating educational content, as you can tell by this YouTube channel. But this was one of those opportunities, again, thanks to YouTube, that just came along and I was never expecting to happen. And I wouldn't have even thought of it as an opportunity, I think, before my social media platforms such as YouTube came along. To do this was just such a great experience. And I highly recommend, if you love doing this kind of thing, if you really see yourself creating courses or you enjoy that kind of educational side of things, never discard YouTube as an idea because it can really help you get to that point. As I said, working with some of these brands has been some of the highlights of my career. It's really been never something that I thought that I would achieve on this scale. So I do think that thanks to YouTube, that's really lifted me to have a bit more of a platform. And I really just can't be grateful enough for these kinds of opportunities. And I think if any of you are interested in sort of pursuing something similar and getting into this field, then I would highly recommend getting started with a YouTube channel. Now talking about a slightly more practical side to things, and especially when it comes to running a photography business or a freelance business, and that is that it actually does come in handy as an extra revenue stream. So especially as someone who's been freelancing on and off over the last 10 to 15 years now, there was a time frame where I was working other jobs as well as doing freelancing. I felt that I couldn't do freelancing full time because it wasn't making me enough money to kind of support myself, to pay my rent and all the rest of it, which is pretty much what I feel everyone goes through at some point. But having said that, things started to really help me along a bit when I started to earn a lot more money from doing things like content creation on YouTube, because obviously with working with brands, with having the AdSense program going with YouTube, and doing things like affiliate marketing and courses and all of the rest of it that kind of stem from YouTube, that was really helping to support my freelance business. And I need to stress here that this has just been so beneficial in a monetary form, especially through the pandemic, when things were really at a standstill and it was difficult to actually get onto shoots physically and do shooting every week. It was basically impossible. So having things like content creation really helped to, I guess, fill in the blanks when you're having those moments of going up and down in your freelance business. You've still got something like this on the side that can really help you out with your income. And again, this is something I'm very grateful for. I think that all freelance business owners, or to be honest, anyone in a full-time job as well, should really have those extra streams of revenue to help them out when things go wrong, or when you inevitably have that wave pattern of income that tends to happen with a lot of freelance businesses. So I highly recommend having this this as an extra stream of income is something that you should really work at, because as I said, it will just really take that stress off of you, especially if you're trying to thrive in your freelance business. The last thing you want to be thinking about is not making enough money, and I think that happens to the best of us at times. So again, content creation on YouTube has been really wonderful for that. And then the last point that I'm going to talk about is that it's never really that boring. Creating content for YouTube really takes you in so many different directions, and it adds kind of a bit of spice to your otherwise monotonous day-to-day work. It really never fails to take me in new directions, and especially since I've started another YouTube channel talking about more content creation related topics, and really when it comes to Instagram and YouTube. So if you're interested in subscribing, I will leave the link in the description box below. But especially with this new channel and with my main channel here, I do feel like I've been taken in so many different directions with it. It's never boring. I think if I had to do beauty photography for the rest of my life and never have anything kind of in between, or never do other ventures, or really expand my horizons when it came to work, I think I'd probably get pretty bored of it. And especially when you're editing photos every day and you're just kind of in the same kind of mindset, same sort of brands that you're working with, sometimes it's nice to branch out of that and to do different things, which is something that I've always really liked to do. So I really recommend for any of you who do feel really stale very quickly in your work, and you feel like you need that little bit of constant change to kind of get you up and get you doing different things, having a YouTube channel can really help you along with that, and in creating different content, but also working on different skill sets and learning different skill sets, because there's a range of skill sets that come along with YouTube that you need to learn and build on that you don't necessarily always get to do with photography. So I do think that incorporating that into your day-to-day is a really great way to not only make yourself more skilled in other areas, but also just to have a little bit more spice in your day-to-day work. Well, I hope you really enjoyed this video today and found it helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure you do, because I'll be posting a lot more videos in future. Let me know in the comment section below if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel this year, and if you have any questions about starting YouTube and what that would look like. I'd love to start a conversation about this in the comment section, so definitely let me know your thoughts. A quick reminder that if you're interested in trying out Melody, make sure to click the link in the description box below and go check it out. But thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.